To call the order public hearing on this, the 19th day of August 2019, to consider the petition of Sarah Lintz, applicant owner seeking a variance of section 3, regulations 3, table 2, dimensional and density regulation regarding insufficient minimum front setbacks regarding a proposed construction of a carport and repair of existing covered patio located at 36 High Street, known as map 3C C5 in the town of Granby, Massachusetts. At this time, I'd like all board members to please introduce themselves for public record.
Kathleen Bronner, Vice Chair.
Jeremy Carrier, Chairperson. At this time, do we have anybody representing the landowner for Sarah Lintz?
I am Sarah Lintz.
Okay. Would you like to please come forward, and that way you'll be on, you will be recorded for public record?
Okay.
Okay. All right, so you have submitted all of the drawings and drafts for this property, and I know that I actually was present the day that you put in all of your applications, and I did make notice to you that at that time no construction of this was to take place in any part until the application was put in, approved, and then there was a 20-day waiting period from the time of that. So you are an acknowledgement that you remember that conversation, that you'd be waiting 20 days from the time that that was entered.
20 days from...
If it was approved, that you would have to wait 20 days
yes, from the approval.
Period.
Yes,
okay.
I remember that.
All right. I have gone by the property, and I'd like to know if you'd like to comment on any construction that you have taken place prior to today's meeting.
Yes. So a few days after you and I spoke, and I submitted all of this work, and at the time you and I spoke, that was also at the time that I became aware of how it would be at least 3 months out before we could actually build anything new. And I spoke to Greg Briggs, the town inspector, and I said, Greg, is it possible to just go ahead and rebuild what was there in terms of the covered patio? Because we had at that point we had to do the demolition because the roof was falling in after the winter. Mm-hmm. So I had sections of roof that were open, and it was not in a state that could just sit there for 3 months. And I talked to Greg, I said, is there anything I can do? And can we at least just rebuild within the footprint that was there when I bought the house a year ago? And he gave me permission to do that.
Okay.
So that's what we went ahead and did. We also went ahead and added in a driveway because my understanding is that for the town of Granby, there wouldn't be any permitting process for a driveway that would just go to the side of the house.
Okay. Were footings poured at all for that side of the construction?
Yes, for the posts.
Okay. So that was construction started for construction that has not been permitted and approved yet? The
posts for the patio that had been existing there were replaced. It was not new necessarily. We took out the old posts that had, and the footings for them that had degraded, and put in new ones. If that's considered new construction, that's new information to me, and it's not information that Greg
it is, and I have been in contact with our building inspector, obviously, prior to this meeting, because posts were put in. That is not part of the original construction that needed to be replaced to do what I was...
Yes, it is. There were 3 posts there previously.
Okay, what are they supporting at this time, those posts?
The overhang of the patio.
All right, so you don't have...
The overhang covered roof of the patio. They're not supporting any carport or anything.
So you don't have any footings in the ground at all that don't support that?
No.
Okay, that's contradictory to what I was just told by the building inspector today.
That there's additional footings?
That you have footings that are not part of what the agreement with him was for this structure. Okay. Did you also put in stairs or other things that were not permitted for at that time?
I replaced the stairs that were there with new stairs because the stairs that were there needed to be demolished with the rest of the rebuild and the repair of the patio and the roof, the covered patio.
Okay.
So none of the work that's been done is a carport. It's actually 2 inches shorter from the front of the property than it was, and then 10 inches shorter than the overhang patio that was there.
Do you have any footings at all to the left of that driveway area that
No.
you have for now?
No.
You do not. Has he been in contact with you at all since you've done any of this construction and discussed with you the fact that some of these things have been done that would be outside of what he originally said to you you could do as a structural improvement because of possible future damage from water, such as the foundation area and the overhang? Has he talked to you since that time, since you've
No.
done this work?
No.
Okay.
He also didn't ask me to check in with him at any moment or provide him any additional. I mean, I would have been happy to have him come and take a look at any time.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
What side is the carpet going, on the left side, the right side?
So the carport would extend, the roof line
Oh, to
of the carport would
Left side, so you're
extend,
facing it.
the left side facing the house. Okay.
yeah.
So, just to clarify, that.
Yeah, I
understand-
have
Oh.
pictures, but I also submitted pictures. They have pictures.
Yeah, I think we have some drawings. So the original house, which I drove by too, on High, I always wondered what that was for years. So it was a shed. So what you did was you demolished the shed. And
The patio behind it.
in the patio behind it, was there an entrance out that side?
Yeah, there's a kitchen door.
Okay, and so what you did was you replaced, there was existing steps that you
That were
demolished.
kind of falling apart, right?
Okay, so the footings for the carport have not been poured?
No.
Okay.
Nothing outside of the original footprint of the house.
Okay.
Even the roof line is
Okay.
within, it's actually inside of that
Okay,
perimeter. And that was my understanding from Greg Briggs, was what was allowable. So if there's a different understanding, I'd like to know about that.
There is a different understanding. I wish I was able to get Mr. Briggs here this evening
Okay.
as a first-hand account of that, but I did speak with him twice today, even after revisiting your property today, to take some photos of the area, because it was my understanding, and I was told that on his visit, there were visible footings, which would be for the farther extended part of your carport, which were on the other side.
You're
I
welcome to
highly
come.
understand Mr. Briggs' professionalism to understand what footings are versus.
Yeah, here's
rocks.
another photo
And-
that my neighbor took. You can see the driveway.
Yeah, the
and edge
toughest
of the
thing we have
driveway.
at this time was you've also done other grading since his visit, which if the footings are not above this picture, we're not going to be able to see them, so they could have been even at level with
Oh, I
dirt.
see what you mean. You are welcome to speak with the Thero brothers who did the work, and also look at the bill that they gave me. They didn't ask me to pay for any additional footing, so that's a pretty clear indication that the work didn't
Oh,
get done.
Pass them back. It's pretty,
But I
Pretty much in the same of
understand
what I'm
anything
looking at
could
today.
get covered up, but my intention is to wait and do the carport if there's approval to do it.
that is why I wish he was here this evening. We're not able to go and visit the property together. That would be considered a meeting for us to go together to do that. Here's your evidence back.
Okay.
And again, it's tough from those pictures. I'm just going by his site visit that he has told me there were footings put there, which if you were to look at what your compacted gravel in the area, your original submitted plan would show you that that would be at ground level. So if you planted or brought dirt back up, we would be right at the level of the slab. So I'm just trying to make sure we have a good
Yeah.
understanding of what is there and what has been relayed to me as the chairperson. And again, the understanding was that the stairs weren't a agreed upon thing either. Any construction really has to be through the building inspector and approved, and all I was told that was allowed was to fix the roof for penetrations to make sure it was structurally sound, which is totally reasonable. Same as the foundation.
Yeah.
I would find that totally acceptable prior to this, to do that. I'm just worried that further extensive things were done.
Okay.
Just go give us a moment to
Yeah, no,
review
please.
that.
And again, my neighbors were kind enough to take some pictures, and
Yeah.
if you want some additional visual aids, we got them.
Do you have any prior to the grading being brought up to that
Yes,
level after
actually,
that?
I think.
That would be very
I think
informative.
my neighbors
Then we
are
could-
currently looking in their
Yeah.
phones because there were pictures taken just about every day.
Okay, perfect.
At
Yeah,
the-
take your time if you have something.
And the-
That would be great. We'd like to work with you to see where we're at with that.
Let me see.
I just want to make sure that there wasn't, yes.
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't, I was, what is it you're looking for?
We're looking for a picture possibly when the driveway was put in prior to the grading of the soil next to it being brought up to the level it is now. So that way we could see if there happen to be footings. Could you bring that up to us, sir?
This may be what you're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, these are my official photographers. They live across the street.
Is this what you might be looking for?
It's partial. We just need a
Partial.
little
If you
bit
have-
wider. We need
Yeah.
the
Do you know if you
other
have a view
side.
further to the left?
They want to know about the other side of the drive, what's now the driveway.
Let's just slide it over.
And you are correct that
Ah.
permitting wasn't required, that you were able to do the driveway.
No,
and
just with your finger, you can move it back and forth.
Okay. Just-
Oh, the picture is bigger than the screen.
Yeah.
I got you.
So here's nothing prior to the driveway.
That's before.
No, that's way before.
Is it gonna be an asphalt driveway or?
No, it's gravel. and
trap rock?
That's fine
Yeah.
enough for, it's a short driveway and
Yeah.
it's not going to be used all the time, but gives
Thank
access
you,
to the
sir.
kitchen.
Okay.
Is that what?
Does that
It
help
looks
you?
pretty good, yeah, it looks pretty good with helping
Great,
us
thank
on
you.
that part of it. Appreciate that very much, sir. Well, at this time, I visibly couldn't see from the street any footings.
My sense is, it's always for the homeowner to work with the building inspector to receive guidance. And if, I don't have an issue with this, if the footings haven't been put in for the carport. Whether there should have been some permits for some of the other work, neither here or there, but she'll have to be going through the whole permitting
And-
process now, right? So if there's any issues, it can be addressed.
I do have to say that if we were to grant this evening and Mr. Briggs was arriving tomorrow morning and footings are there,
Yeah.
you're prior to the 20 days.
Oh,
So I'll let you know, you still have 20 days, if we're to grant this evening, for any footings to be poured. And he has full legal rights, of course, and obligation to the town to check that side. So at this sign, I just want to make sure that you're still going forward with the process to,
oh yeah,
Ask for a permit. Okay.
I don't have
I'm-
the funding
I'm-
to do the carport this year. In any case, I would have to wait till next year.
Yep. I'm
You
very,
can be ready, but you
I'm
can't do the
comfortable
work.
to vote on that and say that's fine, because again, Mr. Briggs has 20 days for this grace period to go through. That 20 days is so that anybody who contests it has the right to do so, and obviously have neighbors that are good and willing to do it. So I obviously wouldn't find a problem if we allowed it, because then Mr. Briggs, it could be null and void if he finds that you have proceeded for any other. That's why I just want to make sure you're still comfortable going through with the permitting process.
Well, I do have a question, actually.
Yes.
Because of the timing of this process. If I'm granted the special permit, I need to sell the property before I'm able to, well, first of all, how much time would I have to build the carport if I get the special permit?
I may be wrong,
Is there any
but I believe
expiration date? Is it 2
18
years?
months to start a major portion of it and 2 years to complete it.
Complete, okay.
Sale of the property null and voids the permit.
Okay.
A new owner cannot then build.
Okay.
It is for you and you alone as the proprietor of the property to be able to do it. So you're
Okay.
it's non-transferable permit.
Okay, so then at this time, it does look like I am going to have to put the property on the market and sell. I'm being posted to Kenya for my job, which I didn't know
No
3-4 months ago and actually even in last February when I began talking to Greg Briggs about this project. So, given that it wouldn't be transferable to anybody that would buy the property from me, would it make more sense to stop this process right here and then let another homeowner finish the process in the future? Or
Well, that would,
what's the,
again, be all up to you, because I believe you've already paid all the processing fee for
Yeah.
the permit. So if you'd like to go through with it, that's your option to go
But
through
it wouldn't
with it.
be-
But if you don't feel you'll be able to do it within that
Yeah.
2-year period, you could withdraw the permit,
okay,
which we could do at that point, and then it wouldn't be with prejudice because it's withdrawn. Doesn't mean if you changed your mind, then you could come back and you could actually apply for it again. I'm trying to think of the time period that would allow.
Well, one of the things that I'm thinking about that, and you would, the
Yeah,
homeowner
120.
These are non-refundable.
way is if you indeed need to sell your property, if you go through the special permitting process, depending if, whatever the appraisal comes in with for the realtor, if you have the permit in place and if that realtor says that you could ask that much more for the property because you have this addition,
right.
it might make sense for you to do it, or you limit your options if you don't go through. I guess that's what I'm trying to
You
say.
could kind of make it a bargaining thing with your next person, even though you can openly disclose the fact it's a non-transferable permit. You could relay the information if it has
And
been
I've got all the
approved,
plans and everything.
that it has been approved, so therefore their process should be a lot easier because
They've gone,
if
you-
they've not
you-
changed anything structurally, then it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
might be a bargaining point.
Yeah.
It's up to
Well,
you.
Yeah, ultimately, hopefully it does add some value and it would set somebody up on the ground running essentially if they decided that that's what they would want to do with the property. And
Okay.
if the fees are not refundable at this stage, which totally understandable, we've all
Yeah.
done a lot of work to get
Some
here.
people do withdraw the permit just because they want to try to go back again and get it permitted if they feel that they're not going to get that permit. So this way there's no bias on them or whatever. If they withdraw it, we haven't voted against them. I believe it's a 2-year moratorium. If we voted against you on it, then it would be 2 years before somebody could
try
actually
again.
try again to get a permit.
Okay,
Where if you keep the process and it's not voted against, then it
Okay.
will hold through.
okay.
So it's good. Did you have a question, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble understanding.
Yeah.
We are voters. And what I understand you're saying is that at this moment in time, it probably would be approved pending the 20 days, as long as the building inspector doesn't find something
Yep.
that
Or an abutter puts in a complaint, objection.
the voters would have.
Improvement usually doesn't have any problems. Yeah,
So
and it's well thought out.
the
Yeah.
cost would be $125. Is that correct?
The fee that she's already paid, yes, so.
Okay. So then, so that I understand, if she withdraws this, then it would actually be more beneficial if she didn't. But it would
Correct.
cost $125.
Oh, I already paid.
She's already,
The fees have
That
been
money's
paid.
already,
it's already been paid and in the
Been used.
system, so therefore she doesn't benefit financially.
And though it's not transferable to a potential future owner, should she sell it, it's a feather in the cap, so to speak.
I would believe so, because again, she's gone through the process, and if there's proof that the abutters, again, the only thing that may ever change, especially if she is gracious enough to forward her plans to a potential buyer, and they say, okay, this is great, they would have that to be able to go again and say, this was once already approved, and this has happened to other properties in town. I'd like to have this done. As long as the new person doesn't have an issue, the abutters don't have an issue with that person. We have a wonderful person here who the abutters love, so therefore, it's not an issue. If a new owner came in and was less than gracious and not as polite and caused a problem, then there may be a potential down the road where an abutter would come forward and say, yes, we wanted her to have it, we don't want this person to have it.
yeah,
Because they're
that's the
gonna,
buyer's risk in
But would
terms
it
of,
be advantageous?
but I think it would
Even
be,
in the sale?
correct,
potentially?
Yeah.
correct. That is my belief, and I believe your
Yeah.
beliefs that,
I think
Yeah.
it would give you options.
right.
The word
At
is-
this point
it would
it's
be-
so far down the line, we might as
Fees.
well take it to the finish line.
and if,
Yeah.
you know, something happens, changes that you don't
Don't sell them.
transfer,
Yeah.
or, you know, and you want to go move forward with that, then
Yeah.
that would be it. So,
Okay.
So you would like to move forward with the permitting
Yes,
process?
now that I
Okay.
understand all of the pros and cons.
It's a lot, yeah, it's a lot to take
I
in.
think it makes sense to proceed.
Do you have any other questions or comments before? Okay. I make a motion to take a vote on this decision. Anyone second?
Oh.
Ron seconds that motion. So therefore, on this decision to allow the petition of Sarah Lintz, applicant owner seeking a variance of section 3, regulation 3, table 3, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. So therefore, your permit has been granted at this time by the Zoning Board of Appeals. You may do as you choose with that. Again, there is the 20-day period. Mr. Briggs, as building inspector, may come out within those 20 days, right up to that 20th day, to make sure that other improvements have not been started yet. And he may discuss anything that may be different from what was believed for the initial repairs, which is separate from our permit altogether. So therefore, I close the hearing portion of this meeting for that topic. Okay, so you are all set. You will receive paperwork from the town offices for that.
Fantastic, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
for,
luck in
and
your-
thank you for applying your pictures to us. I appreciate that. Very nice. At this time, I'm going to continue with the meeting portion, where I will be reading the notes from one of our prior meetings. This was a Granby Zoning Board of Appeals public meeting held on June 18th, 2019. At the Granby Zoning Board of Appeals public meeting on May 28th, 2019, was held at the Granby Senior Center. Jeremy Carey opened the meeting at 6 p.m. by having the members of the Zoning Board of Appeals introduce themselves. I have a little conflict in the dates.
What,
May, June. I believe maybe that was the date we were going to have an original meeting, maybe, to discuss these. Apologize in advance to the public that will be watching this on TV. This is my error.
oh,
So it was for the meeting on May 28th.
on May 28th.
Oh, so maybe that was at the
That-
meeting.
Let's read this. Okay, maybe on meeting,
I believe this was the, maybe this was the date of the actual meeting.
This is the date of the actual meeting, and it must be,
Processed.
yeah.
Okay, I apologize to all of those watching. This is a Granby Zoning Board of Appeals public meeting. Reading of the notes. The Granby Zoning Board of Appeals public meeting on May 28th, 2019 was held at the Granby Senior Center. Jeremy Carey opened the meeting at 6 p.m. by having the members of the Zoning Board of Appeals introduce themselves. Jeremy Carrier, Chair, Ronald Harrop, and Kathleen Bronner, Vice Chair. Mr. Carrier read the Zoning Board of Appeals public notice. For the record, Mr. Carrier read the minutes of the following ZBA minutes and/or hearings into the record: minutes from the April 23rd, 2019, May 7th, 2019, and May 18th, 2019. In addition, Mr. Carrier read the ZBA decision of June 11th on the Granby Bow and Gun Club's application for a granting of the special permit into record. The ZBA committee addressed Mr. Shalou's letter of complaint from March 21st, 2019 into record in regard to the cease and desist order not being upheld by the zoning enforcement officer. Mr. Shalou was allowed to express his concerns. It was determined that the ZBA committee was not in favor of overturn of the findings of the zoning enforcement officer's decision. With there being no further business, the ZBA meeting concluded at 7:07 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Jeremy Carrier, Chair, Granby Zoning Board of Appeals. Make a motion to accept these minutes as read. And seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously. These have been accepted. At this time, I ask the other board members to please sign these so they can be entered into record. Okay. And I believe at this time we have another town resident that was looking for clarification on permitting for a possible business at a location.
I can give you hi.
Aye.
I made this out to make it easier.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
Thank you.
Okay, would you like, please come forward at this time and have a seat over here. Do you need a copy of your sheet so you can discuss what you're... Okay.
Can I come sit over there?
Yes, you may, yeah, that'd be great.
I live in the same house.
Perfect.
Upstairs.
Okay,
Okay.
very good. I just ask you to re-announce your name, please, for the record. Okay,
This is Audrey Walker.
welcome.
And on the sheet, I explained that I've been in private practice as a psychiatric mental health medication management person since 2013. I see patients to interview them every few months as to how they're doing on medication, and if need be, I write a prescription. I don't write a prescription, I send it through my computer, and they leave. That's basically it. There's no medical equipment ever in my office. I have no medication there, no medication is ever dispensed. I have a receptionist who answers. We have a cell phone for my office, and she answers that and makes appointments. And there's no changes to the home. In fact, downstairs is perfect because in the formal dining room living room, there's a nice chair and a couch right there. So nothing has to be moved in or out or
No
anything.
renovations, no additions
Yeah, and there is
to
a,
the structure.
no. And there's a accessible bathroom, because we had renovated that for George and
My dad's
Beverly.
George Galusha. My dad was George Galusha.
Yeah.
Tim's my brother. Audrey Galusha.
So, yeah, we renovated the downstairs bathroom for them, so it's all handicapped accessible on the first floor. And I see clients in that formal living room, I will. Each client, I see approximately 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how much they want to talk. And I don't see dangerous people. I don't see drug-addicted people. Mostly my clients are some children who have been bullied at school and are consequently suffering depression. I would say 90% of my practice is depression and anxiety in adults. I treat them with antidepressants. They come in every 3 months and I ask them how they're doing. If they need to come sooner because their depression's coming back, I schedule them in when they call. And I see probably 8 clients a day. It's spread over the whole day. I have time in between for me to do some charting. Consequently, there will be the most cars in our driveway will be 2 because there's a big space.
So is that 2 cars with you or staff and
No.
the client?
My cars are in the garage.
Yeah, our cars are in the garage. It will be the receptionist and probably 1 car, because they
Okay.
usually, unless they overlap for a long time, but
Okay.
otherwise,
Yeah.
1 car.
I mean, maximum would be 3 cars.
So that's good. So you
It's
do
a
have garage
circle.
space for your own vehicles.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then a separate area for them.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And we don't have to do
Are you
anything.
on the Westover Golf Course side of South Street?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, we're at the bottom of Ferry,
Hill.
corner of Ferry, Barton, and South.
Okay.
Very beginning of South.
And it's
The
a big,
farmhouse?
The farmhouse.
the white farmhouse. That's
Oh,
Yeah, the white
Yeah,
farmhouse.
the Galusha's, the Galusha farm.
Yeah, she's Audrey Galusha.
Yeah.
And,
And we aren't using the downstairs, and we have to heat it anyway, because there's only
Yeah.
1 thermostat in the house. So, might as well use it.
yeah, and like I said, I just turned 70. I had knee replacement surgery in January. Where I am in Northampton is on the 2nd floor. And, I'm thinking a little bit about retirement. I don't think I'll ever fully retire, but I certainly am gonna I'm going down in my patient load now. So I've never had any problems with any of my patients. I don't see violent patients, and we screen before we accept an appointment. And they're mostly very nice people who are suffering a loss of a loved one and need some help medication-wise. So, and some people are from Granby. They're ecstatic. It's a long drive to Northampton.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Good to have something local,
Yeah.
especially in the winter time.
Pardon me?
Especially in the winter.
Yes. Well, in the winter, I don't even make them come in. I do phone appointments because I'm not a therapist so much as we talk about their meds and how they're doing.
So you're here this evening because I believe you had already tried speaking with our building inspector to
Yeah.
see what you needed for applications or for
Well, the
permits.
application person said you just needed to get your approval and then go down there and register with them.
Okay,
Fill out a business form or whatever.
Yeah.
okay.
Because she said there is no renovation. There was an inspection of that house recently. Why did that get inspected? Your
Oh,
father,
when-
your father had that.
No, when I bought the house.
Oh,
That's where we may have to look into it because under our bylaws, under medical office,
Yeah.
a medical, dental, or psychiatric practice offering medical or dental services. I have to read all of it, so some might not
That's all
pretend. Reading or dental services on an outpatient basis and including a total of no more than the full-time equivalent of 3 principal healthcare providers and or 2 medical or dental professionals, exclusive of administrative or clerical staff providing services on the premises. A medical or dental office may also contain associated in-house ancillary services such as in-house diagnostic, testing, facilities, medical counseling services, and similar services. Underneath your area that you live in that is required under a special permit. So which would mean you would need a special permit application put in and then be approved by the
Okay.
board.
All right.
Obviously, I'm talking about it, I mean, we're not having a hearing about that at this moment. I wouldn't see anything that would stop that from going forward. But it's my understanding, talking to Mr. Briggs, that we would need to have a special permit application put in.
Okay, because
No, I
There's no
want to
construction, there's no construction, but it's for the business portion
Yeah,
of
we're
it.
in there.
Right.
doing-
My biggest concern, which you've already discussed this evening, was actually about what you have for a driveway, how many. Yeah,
Plus there's
so-
a
so you
across
have
the street
garage
to the
off-
barn.
Off part, so
There's
you're
parking.
already
Oh, yeah,
there.
the barns, yeah, across the street.
I know which property as well.
Yeah.
From seeing it, I go
Yeah.
by there every day like 10 times, so, the site I don't see. We would just have to check in there. Would this be something that you would also need the signage put out front to show the location of your?
No,
you
I'm
would
just gonna,
have
we have
location.
my name and her name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again,
We might put it on the entrance that they come in, but nothing
Right.
on the
Just on, not
lawn.
on the.
Yeah.
so again, I think you would fall within all reasonable aspects of having the business
Mm-hmm.
for there.
Okay. It's pretty
We're
quiet.
just looking at, we're just
Yeah,
looking at a
I'm,
couple
no,
other
I'm,
things.
yeah, I'm just looking, just going through everything.
Yeah, it's kind of conflicting because when you look at one type of it, you probably think that you wouldn't need one under a section of home professional office, but it's because of the medical
Medical,
side.
dental, or laboratory, special permit.
If you were just to go under home professional office and say not to exceed 35% of the available floor space of a dwelling, accessory or building not to exceed 800 square feet, engineering or as a studio for an artist, teacher, academic, accountant, real estate, or insurance agent, you wouldn't need one.
Yeah. Well, no, that's
Only
okay.
because of the medical aspect of it
It's
Yeah.
understandable.
that
That's
you would need to have a
understandable.
special.
And
Yeah.
I want to make sure I do it right.
Right, yeah, well, we definitely would like
Once
you to.
I move everything over there, I
Yeah,
don't want to
yes,
have
you don't
any
want any
problems.
problems.
Yeah,
Now, would that inspector coming in, would that be after I move in?
we would have to talk to him more on that one. I believe he would apply for
I mean,
it.
if-
And it actually takes 20 days because would be going for a special permit.
Yeah.
You'd have to come before us again.
Mm-hmm.
You would then, again, present this. That would allow any abutters of yours to come forward and have any type of a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a grievance of any concern about traffic,
Yeah.
the clientele, all of that, they would come forward. So it's something that we would openly encourage, or at least I would, that if you
Yeah.
plan on doing that, talk to your neighbors, let them know ahead of time
Ahead
what
of
you're
time.
doing,
Yeah,
and just feel them out, and then
Yeah.
go through Kathy Leonard in her office.
Yeah, she's,
And do it. She's wonderful to explain the process and how it would go. So you'd come before us,
yeah.
as soon as we could meet again once that's put in. And then again, like I said, then you would have 20 days from that time to actually do your business opening. I don't know what he would need to entail. I can't speak for the building inspector.
Well, I think
he'd have
he
to come
probably
in and
has to
check
make
for-
sure that when
I think
George
your
and Beverly
entrance,
were there,
exits.
huge, oh God, it's so annoying, an alarm system because George was hard of hearing.
There's probably some extra fire alarms and
Oh,
stuff
God,
because
there's
it's,
Right.
fire
You may
everywhere.
need that,
But
you
a
may need,
voice,
because
The
it's a
whole house.
the whole, and
House
the
was
voice
redone.
screams, evacuate! And it's like awful.
So he may require, and again, you can talk to him more about that, he may need an exit light over the door, things like that, simple things that are very easy to do.
And there's
He would be the one
3
to talk
doors
to.
out.
yeah.
So it's
Or
great.
4
More
doors.
means of
Four
egress.
Four exits.
Too
So
many doors.
I would recommend that again, if you'd like to move forward with that process, and again, unless I have contradicting from the board of special
No, I
permit.
don't, because I think I think the building is positioned to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the driveway.
With the
yeah.
driveway,
Yeah.
you got plenty of space.
Ease of
Yeah.
access off street.
We have
And-
more traffic in our driveway at family picnics. They're everywhere, on the lawn. She has a big family, and I have a big family down south that comes up.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, but
But,
there's always room across the street
Oh,
where
They-
the
plenty.
barn
they may
is.
require a handicapped entrance.
We
Possibly.
have, my
Say
dad,
Hip
we
run.
have a ramp that we put
Okay.
up for my dad.
Okay.
It's
So again,
just
those-
one of those metal ramps.
But that.
And again, that's
So-
one of the things
suffice.
they may just look at, just to make sure
Yeah.
that the radiation, just because now it's for public use coming into
Yeah.
a business. He may just take some measurements, and again, if it's been set up by a professional, it should have already met that, but they make sure.
No, we just put
They
it
make
up,
sure.
it goes,
Right up top, top stair.
yeah, it goes to the
outside.
top step.
Because when they come in, they can go in the garage and not go
garage.
in up any steps.
Right.
Just go
Okay.
in.
Wheeled my dad
I
into
don't
the house
have
that
any
way.
wheelchair patients
But-
because I was on the second floor and it was one of these older buildings that was grandfathered in that they didn't require a
In
ramp,
Northampton.
which killed me with my knee, but it was, so right now, but I could accept somebody if I needed to,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, so again, that would be my answer anyways, Chair, that you need a special permit, and that would be your thing to go back through the office, fill
So
out the proper
contact
paperwork.
Kathy
Kathy
Leonard.
Leonard.
At the
Okay.
town
Yep.
hall.
And she'll
Do you
talk to you
have
about
her
the
number just
process.
in case?
It's 467
Yeah,
7177.
7-1.
And that's
You're good.
directly to her desk.
Kathy
Yeah.
Leonard,
yeah.
Yeah. She's
Very-
wonderful. She will guide you through everything.
she has.
And again, if you have other questions of us or whatever, she can contact individually one of us.
So how soon would the inspector be able to come, do you think?
You actually would have to go through the special permit
Right.
process
And
prior
20
to
days.
doing it. And then you can talk to him prior to doing any of this.
Yeah.
If you'd like to see what his requirements will be in your building.
Okay.
I can't speak for that. We know the zoning bylaws. He is in
Yeah.
the
He's the
building
building
laws.
inspector, yeah.
He has all the construction of what is needed there and all the other bylaws.
But Kathy would give us
Tell
his
us.
number
Correct,
and
yep.
All of that.
Yeah.
His office is actually right next to her office.
So
Okay.
after we do speak to her, it's 20 days and then the
You
inspector?
submit the
After our
form.
meeting, right, what you would do is if you talk to her and you want to go forward with the hearing, it'd be a hearing here
Yeah.
or another building with the zoning board of appeals, right here. What we would then do was the same thing as now, and as I said, that gives an opportunity, it gets posted prior to the meeting, so we usually have at least a week or two ahead of time, they post it. And your abutters have an opportunity to come and discuss it. So in your application, you will actually have to name all of your abutters, their locations. It'll be very easy, she'll show you
Yeah,
how you'd be
'cause
able to
we're
do
on-
that.
It's Timothy and he's the one that wanted me to do this.
So,
Yeah.
so that
it's
gives them an
Spartan Street.
opportunity at the hearing, if there's something negative that they feel we shouldn't do it. Doesn't mean you're not gonna get it, but it gives an
They may
opportunity.
have.
Then what
Yeah.
happens is we have the hearing between us, right then and there. We can make a decision if we have a quorum, enough people decide to grant it or not grant it, which I don't see a reason why not to.
Okay.
No, the butters are upset. but
Unless the
I-
butters have
I
a
don't
major
see it.
concern
I
and
don't
show
see it.
us cause.
Yeah, it has to be.
They'd have to
the
show us a
reason.
just cause.
Oh,
not
yeah,
just,
and
"I
it
don't
may
like
be
them."
they have bad feelings about mental health. I don't know with what Trump's
So it would have to be a
going on,
reasonable-
blaming all
Yeah,
the mass
Yeah,
shootings.
it'd have to be a reasonable
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no.
argument against it.
Yeah.
At that time, if we were to grant that permit, then you would have 20 days before you could actually do any changes that needed to be done under that permit to make you the business.
So what if no
He may
change-
talk to you, Mr. Briggs, in advance. There may be things you can do that really don't require a special permit that you can get a permit to do, like install exit lights, things that,
Yeah.
if you don't become a business, they don't change the structure of your building, they don't change the use of your building. So that would be my suggestion, is
Yeah.
to talk to Kathy as soon as you can,
Yep, we will do that.
and then
Then we'll.
nicely talk to your butters and
Yeah.
let them know
and
what you're
let-
doing.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful thing, but
Yeah.
it's my opinion.
Now, my landlord probably wants at least a month, but if it, notice for me to, because I've been there since, I've been the longest tenant he's ever had. So,
And that may be
After
a good thing. I didn't know
20
she didn't own the property. It's a rental. I
Huh.
don't know if that changes anything in the permitting
For the business?
for becoming a special permit
I-
for
I-
the property.
I don't see it. If the owner's here, I don't see it, but.
she's the
No,
owner.
oh, you're there.
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, you
yeah.
just said need 30 days or whatever. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, for the
for-
one
he's
in
talking about Northampton.
Northampton, because I work
Oh,
every
okay.
day.
Yeah,
My office is
Northampton.
still
Okay.
I got confused. I thought you meant of the property you're trying to make
No,
the business. I'm like,
no,
I need 30
So
days.
when would it be safe? Do you think I should wait till the very end to notify my current landlord? that I'll be moving? Because if I'm not moving there, I'll have to,
I would wait till the
I would
hearing.
wait until you at least have been granted that, yeah.
The
Because if
special wait till the
somebody
hearing.
comes forward and there's a major issue,
Okay.
we would
When you
hate
know,
to
give them a
misdirect
week or so,
it.
if you can.
Sure, I mean, as soon as you.
When you know you're gonna be doing it, give them a week or so.
yeah.
You can always pay that
Well, I
extra
already
month
paid
rent.
last month.
Oh, right.
Oh, so there
Yeah.
you
Because
go.
there you go.
That
So
would be
talk to
great.
Kathy Leonard, fill out form for special permit
Right.
with Kathy.
Yeah,
I would speak to Mr. Briggs, the building inspector, and
Yeah.
find out
Yes.
any special accommodations you may need to make in the property to actually have a business there. He's great with that too. He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So.
okay, so he's the man we initially spoke to.
Correct.
Okay,
And again, that's how it came to our thing, because he knew that you'd probably have to come before the ZBA
Right.
because of
yeah, no, he told us.
if it was a
all
non-medical practice type thing. Again,
Yeah.
if you were a lawyer or if you
Right.
were an insurance agent, you wouldn't
I'm
need a
a
special
minister,
permit.
so-
She's a-
Unfortunately, because of the healthcare part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, speak to Mr. Briggs. And basically, he will be the one who would be inspecting?
Correct. If there's
He would
anything
be.
that needs to be inspected to approve
Yeah.
the business on site, he will
Okay.
be the one to approve it.
All right,
So
and
he'll
then
know
once
ahead of
he
time
approves
what you
that,
need.
does he contact you or do we?
No, again, you would have to do the special permit before we even
Begin the
have
process.
the hearing.
Right.
But you would at least know ahead of time what you would need to do to make changes.
Right.
Okay.
If your door, he may say, yes, you've had a handicap ramp. Does it meet a certain length per gradation? There may be things you may have to change even though you think it's accommodating. The
Yeah,
size of
right.
the door may need to be larger. Again, you may need to have exit signs, and then
Yeah.
you might have to need emergency lighting. There may be little things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see you get surprised.
No, that's a good idea. So, and we can get that done. What if he says you don't need to do anything?
Then you're fine.
And then we call you to,
No, what will happen is
Oh.
when you meet with, talk to Kathy Leonard,
yeah,
she will walk you through the process for the special permit.
Yeah.
The application. She will then outreach to the
He'll
committee.
review it and
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
if he
She'll reach
approves
out
it.
to the committee and look at your schedules. We'll set up it's usually Monday evenings.
Yeah.
At 6 or 6:30.
Monday is really good.
He'll,
Oh, is it Tuesdays?
We're usually Tuesdays.
Oh, okay, the
changed
other
for
Board of
you.
Health.
It is, right.
Oh, okay, fine, thank you.
So there wouldn't be
Okay.
a planning there. There would be
All
a
right,
ZBA.
okay. So we're usually Tuesdays
Okay,
Right? Tuesdays are always better for you?
at 6 or 6:30, whatever that would work. And Kathy will schedule the hearing
okay,
with us.
Okay.
And then you'll have that date, the notices go out,
yeah,
then the hearing will be held. We'll walk through the whole process again.
yeah,
The abutters, if anyone shows, will have a chance to say their
Yeah.
piece. And then a vote will be taken that night,
okay,
okay?
yeah,
And then from that vote, date of the vote, you'll have 20 days before you really can set up
Start-
shop, as it
start
were.
business?
Start business.
I mean, there's furniture, in her office that belongs to the house anyway. We took it out. Then we can move that, move
yeah.
that
Yeah.
We may
furniture
replace
back.
some.
Again, as long as you're not doing anything structurally to
Oh, no,
the
no, no.
house
Yeah.
that falls under the special permit guidelines.
Yeah,
And I would,
No.
I'm sure we would hear back from Mr. Briggs if you communicate what you have, or
Yeah.
he says to you what is needed.
Yeah,
We could have in there a limitation on your special permit, the day of application, that to open up the business, you will need to have a handicap accessible ramp that complies with A, B, and C, or a door, he may
Okay.
tell us. Again, but either way, if you want to open the business, you need to have a special permit.
Yeah.
So that would be your first step, is
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
contact Kathy and just get the special permit application going.
all right,
Because that would get our hearing a lot faster.
Yes.
Vacation
Yeah.
time and everything else.
yeah, that'll be fine.
Great.
Mm. do everything you just said.
Great.
And hopefully I'll be back to see you sometime.
Yes, yes, we look
Yeah.
forward to it. We
Thank you.
great. I thank you for
meeting.
putting everything in a bullet point for us that
Yeah. well,
makes it very clear.
Yeah, makes everything easier.
Yeah.
It does, it
Yeah.
does.
Well, it helps
really does.
organize, her thoughts.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right, so I will see you again.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for
Thank
both
you.
of you coming in this evening. Appreciate it.
I didn't come very far.
Don't get very far.
Hey,
I just want to say thank you very much.
very welcome. Pleasure. to
Hello.
meet you.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Jeremy Carrier.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you. Good luck. My dad knew your dad. My dad was Romeo Amano.
Nice to meet you.
Romeo.
Better.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your dad?
Was my dad.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes.
Your dad, yeah. Small
Army
town, yeah.
people. And I have a son-in-law who's a warrant officer in the Army, and he's retiring. Been there since he was 18.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, thank you for your
Yeah.
service.
Thank you
Yeah.
for your service.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was he a chopper pilot by any chance?
No, her
No, my
son.
son was. He did so many tours to Iraq. It was unbelievable. Year after
Most of the
year.
chopper pilots, or a lot of the chopper pilots are warrant officers.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Peter,
yeah.
who's that guy?
I don't know.
He was the head of.
General?
Yeah, he was a general. Like, that was his helicopter, Peter's. But he would welcome the general and he would give him coins
Yeah.
or something. It was weird. Now Peter works for the Department of Defense.
Good for him.
They just
You make a lot more money there than in the Army.
Yeah.
It's all about aviation.
Yeah.
He got his pilot's license, Peter, to fly down in Northampton when he was 16.
Yeah.
And
What?
I knew him.
Just be
So
careful of the cords here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I knew my son and I said, when you're gonna be up here, let me know. I won't be out there.
Well, take care now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Do any of the board members have any other points of business to bring forward this evening?
No?
Okay, it's time to make a motion to close this meeting of the ZBA.
I'll second it.
It's been motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. At this time, close this meeting of the ZBA at 7:22 PM. Thank you.